They say your wedding day is the happiest day of your life. I stood at the altar with a smile so perfect it could have fooled God. My eyes scanned the crowd, all smiling, all blind. My bride glowed in white. My best man stood beside me, hands folded, pretending he hadn't betrayed me just hours before. I knew everything. And I waited for the "I do" like it was a trigger. Jacob wasn't just my best friend. He was my brother in all but blood. We met at 12. He took a punch for me in high school, covered for me in college, stood beside me when I buried my father. I trusted him more than anyone. And Claire? Claire was my miracle. We lost 2 pregnancies before this one. I held her at 2 a.m. while she sobbed into my chest, thinking she was broken. I told her she was everything. She smiled when she told me she was pregnant again. I built a life around the 2 of them, one as my brother, the other as my future. I didn't know they were carving their own future behind my back in my bed. It started with a message, a screenshot from a blocked number. No words, just an image. Jacob, Claire, naked. Her bump obvious. The date was the night of my bachelor party. At first, I thought it was fake, a cruel prank, but something in me knew. So I dug. Her texts were deleted, but cloud backups are sloppy when you're hiding things. I watched my fiancé write, "He doesn't satisfy me like you do." I watched my best man reply, "He doesn't need to know. Not yet. Not yet." That was when the pain stopped and planning began. I hired a PI 2 weeks before the wedding. I told everyone I was swamped with work. In truth, I was collecting timestamps, hotel records, phone pings, every detail, verified and organized. I wasn't just gathering proof, I was building a stage. I moved our wedding funds into a trust, quietly removed her name from my will, froze our joint accounts, set up a private attorney and drafted a prenup disguised as a final wedding contract for emergency medical clauses and property rights. She signed it, distracted, glowing, guilty. The night before the wedding, I stood in front of the mirror and rehearsed my lines. Every smile, every word, every step. I would walk her down the aisle. I would vow to love her forever, and then I'd burn it all down. The day came. She looked like heaven. Ivory lace, bare shoulders, a hand resting on the bump I once prayed over. Jacob grinned, arm around me, whispering, "Ready, brother?" I smiled back, more than ever. The ceremony began. She walked toward me like everything was pure. People cried. I held her hands. She trembled, not from love, from fear, from shame. I could feel it in her grip. The priest began. Vows were exchanged. She said, "I do." Then it was my turn. I looked into her eyes, then into his, and I spoke. I, Noah James Carter. Pause. Refuse. A ripple in the crowd. Nervous laughter. The priest frowned. Claire's eyes widened. I turned to the crowd, calm, certain. I refuse to marry a woman who slept with my best friend the night before our wedding. Gasps. Someone dropped their phone. Claire shook her head violently. "Noah, please!" I raised my hand. Save it. Then I turned to Jacob, my brother, my best man. I hope she was worth it. I pulled out my phone, hit AirPlay. Behind me, a screen lit up. Photos, dates, hotel names, messages. Silence. Claire dropped her bouquet. Her legs buckled. Jacob tried to step forward. "You're lying!" "Your voice is on tape. You moan when you lie." The room erupted. Her father stormed out. His mother collapsed in tears. My mother didn't move. She just nodded. I walked out alone. Cameras followed. I didn't care. The world needed to see what betrayal looked like. Raw, unfiltered. Later, I sent Claire the annulment papers. The prenup meant she walked away with nothing. The baby? DNA tests confirmed it wasn't mine. She moved in with Jacob a month later. They didn't last. Cheaters rarely do. He lost his job when someone leaked the photos to his firm. Character clause violation. She lost her social circle. No one wanted to brunch with the pregnant adulteress. Me? I healed. Quietly. On my terms. Revenge wasn't about shouting. It was about precision. I gave them a stage. Then I let them choke on their lines. Now I sleep fine. Because while they played games in the dark, I rewrote the ending in the light.